Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club.
Hello and welcome to Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. This is episode 3. But yeah, before we get on to episode 3, how do you think the last one went?
I think it went alright. We missed a few little things, I think. So, like, just a few amendments, I guess. Like, there was a Turtles anime series, which ran for like a series, and there was some action figures based on those.
And we forgot those entirely, did we?
Totally forgot about those.
Okay, cool.
What else was there? There's a new feature film in the works.
I didn't know that. Is
Yeah,
that
Michael Bay
Bay?
is producing it. Apparently, it's going to be a reboot from the other ones.
Right.
So, yeah. And there was something else, but I've forgotten.
We'll put that in episode 4,
Yeah.
maybe.
So, what are we talking about today, Tom?
Well, we've got the t-shirts on.
We have. So, what are we talking about?
Batman
and Robin?
and Robin, I think it is. No, we're going to be talking about Mike Judge.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we addressed appropriately, though, do you?
Not appropriately enough.
Got the fingers ready?
I've got the fingers ready.
3, 2, 1. This could be the stupidest thing we've ever done.
Hi, Nat.
Hi, Caroline.
Yeah, so I think the first thing we're going to talk about in our Mike Judge episode is probably what he's most well known for.
Well, hang on. Hold up. Backtrack a little bit.
Oh?
First of all, where did Mike Judge start? He started doing shorts, like in his garage. And I think some of his early shorts were...
What, these sort of shorts?
Yeah, the short shorts. No, he did like a lot of like shorts in his garage. So and just by himself, like he did the animation and he did the dialogue and everything.
I think I remember reading he got his camera from his granddad's loft or
something like that. And so he did obviously Milton, which became famous in Office Space, was one of his first shorts about a disgruntled employee who he wants to set fire to his building and it's like the last straw. What was the Jed the Inbred?
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, so they're just like playing guitar and they keep playing the same song over and over again.
Oh, I thought that was the one where he's on about the food, the farm foods.
Which was the guy? Huh?
You know the guy who's on the telly and he's talking to the chap who sat down.
That's her.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Ah.
Yeah. And then obviously his most famous one was about these two characters dressed similar to this.
Frog Baseball?
Called Frog Baseball.
Yeah.
And it's quite crudely animated. I think it was actually more technically animated than the other shorts that he'd done. But all of them were shown on this like show on MTV called Liquid TV.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Liquid TV like had other things on there, like all kinds of shorts and things like the Max and things like that. I think were on there, and maybe Eon Flux, or if that was like an offshoot of it, which was kind of like a manga and styled sci-fi kind of.
I've got some of those on VHS still.
Made a film with Charlize Theron in it.
Oh.
But yeah, off the back of that, they got to make Beavis and Butt-Head.
Which is one of the best series of all time.
It's awesome. So, what are your earliest memories of Beavis and Butt-Head?
Well, Beavis and Butt-Head, I remember being very young, having VHS tapes and recording over like my dad's EastEnders or my mum's EastEnders, getting a bollocking for doing it. But Beavis and Butt-Head were on at like 3 a.m. on Channel 4.
Yeah, they were definitely on like at midnight or something.
It was like midnight, and I remember watching it and knowing I wasn't meant to be watching this. Like, I don't think my mum would have approved at the time. And I just remember either staying up, recording it, not understanding a lot of it at the time, because I think I was quite young.
Yeah.
But as I grew up, I grew to appreciate the really juvenile sense of humour. And I also found in a shop by myself, which is called International Stock, they had loads of fire damage stock.
Okay.
And they had the whole Beavis and Butt-Head collection in there on VHS. So
there's some episodes on those VHSs that aren't even in the box set, I think.
Right, okay.
So it's worth holding on to those.
I've still got them all. I think I'll try and dig out a picture or film some of it. But yeah, I used to watch the VHSs with my friend Dave, who was my best friend at school. We used to just live at mine after school, eating food. I used to have a futon in my room, and my mum would come in, like, throw food into the room, like we were fucking animals. And we'd just watch Beavis and Butt-Head sit there and just fester. You know what you do as teenagers?
Yeah.
Just stink the room up. Laughing our bollocks off at Beavis and Butt-Head.
Nice.
Just some of the stuff that like went on in the episodes, like when I think there's one called Woodwork, and like he saws his hand off or he saws his thumb off. Just like, as you say, juvenile, but it was amazing at the time.
Yeah, it's such a good show.
How about you? What were your first memories?
I think like I don't know how I first heard about it or saw it. I just think it was in the public zeitgeist, or do you know what I mean? It was just out there, like it was in TV guides and stuff, because it was quite infamous as soon as it came over to the UK, because I think in America there was a lot of controversy about it because it was on at 7 o'clock in the afternoon or early evening, which seems a bit ridiculous. And then it was on late at night, but apparently kids were setting fire to their houses, or I think there was even like, unfortunately, like a death related to it.
Yeah.
Or blamed on it, which I think has been like debunked. But so it got blamed for a lot of things. So like fire, there was a lot of references to Beavis. Fire.
Yeah.
And that was taken out. Obviously there was the early episodes were a lot meaner and mean-spirited. So like, they'd cross the border to Mexico to smuggle drugs back, but they'd swallow all the drugs, and then, but they didn't use the condoms split or something. They used the wrong things, and they end up tripping out. So and also the animation was really weird in some of the older ones, because obviously when he first did Frog Baseball, it was like signed to it as a TV show straight away. So they had to make episodes really quickly. So a lot of the quality of the first 3 series, which I think
know
probably
some of
the first year
dreadful.
There was I think they had different animation studios, so you probably had the ones that Mike Judge was in charge of, which probably looked like what we expect Beavis and Butt-Head to look like now. But then there was some that were shipped off to other companies, and they're completely off model. The way they're animated just looks really bizarre.
They're discombobulated, aren't they?
And then the
really
backgrounds are weird. And one of the things that Mike Judge doesn't like is like squash and stretch. So if if I'm to do this, my head will go up here or whatever. And there's a lot of that in some of the early ones, whereas Mike Judge likes things to be simple and kind of...
Like his protagonist, he likes a simple
animation. He just likes kind of... he doesn't like it to be too flamboyant. I mean, obviously, we'll get to the movie later on, but the movie, opens up with a Godzilla sequence and then has, a Shaft kind of, intro sequence, and then it's got that Wicked Dream sequence, which we'll get to. But other than that, when they're walking around, it's just them walking or talking, which is one of my favourite things, actually, is watching Beavis and Butt-Head walk. Yeah. I just love that walk cycle. There's something about it, I could just watch that over and over again.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that scrolling background and just those...
In terms of, my first, I think I even drew this. This is one of my early drawings, before I'd even seen the show. So, I was already... The look of the characters are appealing to me.
It's mental, isn't it? I remember my dad calling me and my friend Beavis and Butt-Head. And I don't think my dad knew who Beavis and Butt-Head was.
But they kind of came around the time of, Bill and Ted. Just a bit after Bill and Ted, but also Wayne's World and stuff. So they definitely fit in with that. Duo comedy, yeah. But they definitely... were a bit more on the edgier side of those.
Yeah.
But definitely, as you were saying, you watched it on Channel 4. That's where I saw it, because I didn't have Sky or anything, so I couldn't watch it on MTV. But we had a Betamax player. Right. And I remember recording it on Betamax and just leaving the tape running, and hopefully, I might catch a bit of Eurotrash.
Oh.
Say no more, say no more.
What was it? Lola
Ferrari.
Lola Ferrari.
Yeah, and Pepe and Popo, who were the little mascots, who were like little giraffes. And then Jean-Paul Gaultier was a presenter.
I was going to say Depardieu again, but...
Gerard Depardieu. I think the very first episode I saw was one where... I think it was the one with... They go to a golf course and they keep stealing Tom Anderson's golf balls and sending them back to him.
He's one of the best characters in that.
Well, obviously he was the basis for... for Hank in...
Blatantly. The same way as Van Driesen is the same character as
In the
Good Family. Yeah.
So, but one of my big memories as well was this comic book. I remember going round the corner to the newsagents, and I really wanted this comic book.
Yeah.
But my mum refused to buy it for
Yeah,
me.
it's mad, isn't it?
And like she eventually caved in. I pleaded and begged for it for that much that she eventually went for it.
Came with free drugs.
Free drugs, yeah. No, it was a fridge magnet which I've got somewhere. I don't know where it is. And to be fair, she was probably right because there's some disgusting things.
There's some mental stuff in there.
So when the second book came out, that's when she was like, "No, you're not having any more after that one." Because the second one is they encounter this like old lady who's like into bondage and stuff. But these were done by Marvel, so there's lots of connections with like the Marvel comics and stuff. So
yeah,
obviously here they're lusting over Mary Jane Watson, and there's lots of like little things in here. Like so, in this episode they teach you how to cover a toilet seat with
I did that
with cellophane, or
and it was from that. I remember my dad screaming.
Yeah, or to put little sachets of ketchup underneath the toilet seat when you sit on it. Like... But the one thing in the second episode, it taught me this. So, do you remember this? So, if you get your hands.
I remember it very well.
Yeah. So yeah, taught you that in the second issue. But after that, my mum was like, "Nope."
No, wondering why you're just running around the house like this.
And then I remember stealing this from my cousins, the same cousins I stole the Ninja Turtle comic book from. So yeah, I love this book. It's got like loads of.
I bet they hated you, your cousins, didn't they?
They bullied me. It's all right.
Nah,
so in here you've got kind of like family photo albums, like of them growing up and stuff like that. I don't know. It had like really stupid games. So you had like a dot to dot that when you put it together that didn't amount to much. It was just like like the layout of their bedroom and.
Let's have a look at the bedroom. Oh right.
You can actually see that bedroom in their video game. I love that.
Did I spot Daria in the page before as well?
Oh yeah, Daria was in the TV series, who later got her own.
There she is.
Her own cartoon
spin-off
series,
cartoon, wasn't it? Yeah. Which was also great.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming back this year. It's got the contents of their pockets.
That looked like Bill Dauterive then. When you're looking.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of his artwork looks very similar, doesn't it? So I think the Good Family doesn't look like...
Because it's not his, is it? It doesn't look like... Maybe he's done the original sketches, but it's been
Yeah, it doesn't look like...
distorted.
So yeah, what are some of your favourite episodes?
There's an episode where they go to a mall and they test their blood pressure and Beavis gets his arm stuck in there.
Okay.
And it just goes absolutely mental. But I love it.
But there's another one where they phone up like a sex call worker and stuff like that, and they, "Can you put the phone by your butt?" And like they're still on the phone for like a whole day or whatever. I know one of my favourite episodes is where Beavis gets a nosebleed,
and he has to use tampons.
And I think Butt-Head just completely beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
To like try and stop the nosebleed, and by the end of it, Beavis is just this horrible bloody mess.
Do you know what? I think I was saying to you before. It's really hard to like pinpoint the episodes because they all blend into
There's
one.
So many of them, and obviously they had the music videos in between them.
Yeah, because I preferred them without the music videos because I like watching stuff to chill out when the music videos used to come.
I don't know. I think the music videos was where the satire came out the most. Yeah. I think like some of them like there's a really funny one where like this is not a satirical one, but they're watching a Pantera video.
Right.
Is it You Bring Me Love? Oh, what's it? It's off Vulgar Display of Power. You give me love.
Yeah. I know the one you're on.
But the way they keep talking about it, they call Phil Anselmo in it. They call him Pantera. And they're talking about how his mom like tells him off and stuff. And he's like, "Pantera, go to your room."
And Welcome to Burger World, where they're just throwing burgers up and just like... They're going in the fan and smashing, and you have the cop who comes in.
There's a good one as well where Beavis gets a pet rat.
Yeah.
And he takes it to work with him, and I think it has baby rats, and then like they don't see a problem with having rats in the at Burger World and stuff like that.
I love
and
it.
There's one with Burger World. There's a great one where they decide that they just want to sit in the toilet all day. They have a toilet break and they just kind of like doss around the toilet all day.
I remember him just frying. I think there's a rat involved with the fryer as well. They just stick things in the fryer all the time.
Like I said, like the earlier ones though, there was a lot more violence. So like they put dogs in the washing machine and stuff like that, which is a bit nasty. Like I'm not a big fan of the earlier ones because they're like a lot more.
They're mean, aren't they?
They're just not a bit more mean-spirited, whereas later on they just became like these lovable idiots.
And you had the episode where they kept phoning that guy in the phone book because his name was Harry Sack.
Oh yeah.
That was a great one.
There was one that got banned, which actually is a really good episode. I don't know if it was banned, but it was not on the set. It's called Screamers.
Screamers.
And they just pick up the phone and start going "Ah!" down the phone to people. But yeah, like there's a Facebook group actually. It's called Beavis and Butt-Head Memes. It's run by this guy called the Beavis and Butt-Head Collector, who's on Instagram, and he's actually uploaded every episode that's not on the set or that's been banned, so you can watch them on there. It's really cool.
I mean, like I loved episodes with like Todd, the cool guy Todd.
Yeah.
I thought like there's one episode where they're
trying to join his gang.
Join his gang, and they just stick both of them in the boot.
Yeah.
And just drive up. I think that's an excellent episode. Also, anything with what's the poor name of the kid with the Wings t-shirt?
Oh,
because the kid
Winger t-shirt.
Not Stuart.
It's unicorn in
Stuart.
It's unicorn in like promo stuff. But it's Winger in.
Because they just go around to his house and just like Stuart, just like rip him apart.
And, they trash his house.
Trash his house and
yeah.
I just love them. I just think they're just like anarchic kind of. Just one of my favourite episodes is where they've got to do up Mr. Anderson's garden. Well, no, they're doing. There's one where they like chop down his trees and stuff with a chainsaw and stuff. But there's one where they have to dig out his pool and fill it in with cement. Yeah, and
they think of a quick way to do it, just using a hose and stuff like that, and just putting all the cement in. But they end up getting stuck in there, and then they're in there for like days and weeks. It's brilliant. But like, I love how sweet Butthead is always like. I think Butthead was the biggest dickhead of the two.
Yeah.
I think even though Beavis was a bit, obviously he became cornhole and he was a bit like tweaking or whatever.
Yeah, but he had a thicker of the two as well, wasn't he?
He had like a bit of a softer side to him, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's quite. What's the word for it? Innocent.
Yeah, innocent.
He was innocent.
I don't think Butthead's as innocent.
No, he's just an arsehole.
Yeah.
But the early ones, as you were saying.
Well, the early ones, they're just anarchic, so they're just kind of like they just run around going ah. Whereas, like in the newer one, the newer, there's a bit more something to them. They're a bit more thought out.
I mean, if you're talking about the newer ones, what about the ones that have come out when we say recently?
Like 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Like, I think this is brilliant. I think these are some of the best Beavis and Butt-Head.
I've watched them, but I don't remember them that well. Do they do one on 16 and pregnant?
Well, they instead of just doing music videos, because actually on this they've got all the music, everything that they take the piss out of, like music video or TV wise, it's on there. So obviously they've bought the rights to use whatever.
Right. Okay.
Whereas before they could only do a handful of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I've found a load of bands and music that I love
because
of Beavis and Butt-Head. Like, I'm like, wow, what's Gua? What's like, you know, you get into because that. What's I don't know who else did I find out on there. I don't know. There's loads of stuff. But yeah, the first episode on this, they watched Twilight, and they decide that they want to become vampires to woo girls.
Yeah.
So they find this homeless guy who they think's a vampire or werewolf.
Yeah.
And they get him to bite them. But it turns out that he's like fully loaded with hepatitis and everything, like, you know. So like they think they're like sexy vampires, but they're like pretty much dying. It's great. I
mean, like, how do you think Mike Judge feels about those characters?
I think he loves them. Yeah. He wouldn't have come back to do these.
No, wouldn't have, would he?
I think, you know, this is his bread and butter. This is what's made him
who he is and what he's doing.
You know, obviously he's probably made a lot doing King of the Hill and that, but like, he's obviously made a lot on the toys of these, the plushies, you know. Not that there's a great deal of merchandise, but...
I was watching or reading something about Mike Judge, and he figured out how much it would cost him to live for the next 10 years. I think it was like 200 grand or something. And he wanted to make that so he didn't have to do anything. Cause he was originally good. He studied to be some sort of scientist, was it? Or
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was into physics.
Ah, okay.
And sacked it all off because he just couldn't be bothered and started doing this.
What's your other fact about Mike Judge that you're very
born in Ecuador? Yeah, he was born in Ecuador. Born October the 17th.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't he like 50, mid-50s now?
I don't know what year. But I was born on October the 11th, so I reckon me and him would be friends.
Okay. All right.
We're both Libras.
Some of the great episodes on this. There's one where Beavis gets his... he's playing with an action figure and he's like putting a screw into the action figure.
Yeah,
and ends up drilling into his palm of his hand. And then Butthead, instead of putting the drill into reverse, puts it like even faster and like drills it even further into his hand.
Yeah.
And then he goes to hospital, and then because he's got these 2 holes in his hand, like these
stigmata.
Yeah, they believe like he's a cult, and then I think Cornholio comes out then and stuff.
Amazing. What's the episode where I think they're like at a health centre, and there's like a big fat like cowboy guy.
Yeah.
On one of the the walk like the what do you call them? Like the mobility scooters.
Yeah.
And he ends up going down the stairs.
I don't know.
There's so many. That's the thing. Like,
there's over 200 episodes, maybe more.
And what are they? 20 minutes a piece?
Well, no. Each episode is once you put them back to back, they're probably about 8 minutes.
That's nuts.
When you bulk them out with the music videos, they're like 15 or whatever. But don't forget, American TV is different to ours. So
how many adverts?
An episode will be like not 20 minutes, but they'll have like
it's nuts,
15 minutes of adverts. But yeah, there was like some merch that came alongside of it as well. So obviously, over the years you've accumulated stuff. So
there wasn't a lot of merch though, was there?
No. You've got some comic books like collected.
Yeah, I love this one.
I think that's just a continuation of.
I think it is.
But that's like more American version sized comic books, whereas that's a UK sized comic book.
It is, isn't it? And like, yeah, you've got all the Marvel characters.
There's the old lady bondage woman somewhere.
But yeah, I love these comics.
You've got a tie-in album that came out with it, and so you've got like Nirvana on there. You've got Anthrax, Aerosmith. White Zombie, Primus. The Anthrax song is cool because it's a cover of the Beastie Boys looking down the barrel of a gun.
Oh, wicked. I do remember that really well. Like I Hate Myself and I Want to Die by Nirvana. Just mental.
There's actually some like spoken word bits in this, so like they talk to Anthrax and Run DMC and stuff. But the White Zombie song's cool on here. And obviously like Do the Bartman, there had to be a single that came with it, so there was like Share with Beavis and Butt-Head doing I Got You.
I can't get over that.
And they're animated in the video and stuff. What else is there? So I've got some other stuff. So I've actually got I've got a cell from one of the episodes. I have no idea what episode that is. But I've got one coming soon that's from one of my favourite episodes.
Nosebleed.
And it's Nosebleed, and it's where Beavis gets a nosebleed and have to stick tampons up his nose. Sadly, what I've got is not the tampons up his nose, but it's got Butthead holding him up.
Yeah, and he's nearly passing out.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's a nice little piece. What's cool is though that these separate and they're like actually fully drawn. I don't know why Beavis Butthead's got no legs.
I don't understand that.
But yeah, it's cool when you turn it round and you see the process of how they painted cells.
It's incredible, isn't it, man?
And there you go, you got the certificate of authenticity on the back.
Which is very nice. The ones you saw on the last podcast as well.
Yeah, you've got the talking figures.
Hey, baby.
And obviously you got video games.
I mean, we need to talk about these, don't we?
See, I actually haven't, I bought this at Comic-Con when we went last.
Yeah.
And I haven't really got a chance to play this much because my Mega Drive has no sound on it.
So wonder.
I can't hear anything. And it's actually quite hard, to try. I've played it a little bit. But to try and find the things you've got to pick up or whatever, sometimes they're hidden off screen so you can't see what you actually have to pick up.
Yeah. I remember it being
it's
quite a hard game.
It's not the most well-designed game, but actually the graphics are pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Well, they've got it. They look like Beavis and Butt-Head, don't they?
And I think the aim of the aim of the game is to fight. Basically, your Guar tickets have been eaten by Mr. Anderson.
I remember it really well now.
And you've got to find all the pieces that I think he shits out or something, or throws up or something. But there was also a version on the SNES which was a bit different, but it was still the same concept.
But the game
a Game Gear version as well.
I really wanted to play was the one on PC. I think you had it. I never got to play it.
It's called Virtual Stupidity. I don't have it anymore. It
looks amazing. It looks like it's actually got a story to it.
I'd love to try and get it now and play it on the virtual PC.
I bet you could get a ROM of some sort.
No, I don't know. Cause
is it a DOS game?
Yeah. No, it was a Windows 95 game, I think.
Okay.
But like it had full-on animation like the TV series. Like there was just for that game. And it was like a point-and-click adventure. But it had like mini games as well. So there was like Hokaloogie where you're on top of the building in the school and you're like spitting on the.
I think because I've watched the playthrough on YouTube and
the playthrough it's like 3 hours long and it's like a full game. But honestly, it's worth it. There was also like a golf game.
Yeah. Which
I never played, and then there was another mini game one. I think there was some other things as well. There was a load of other books, like there was Encyclopedia or something like that. There's all kinds of stuff, but I mean they don't do that much more. They don't do much now. I think NECA released some like figures not long ago.
Yeah.
That were like vinyl figures that were like that big, but they go for quite a pretty penny on it.
Yeah, they do.
But like obviously after the cartoon, you had the movie, and this movie was incredible.
It was one of the best.
Yeah, I mean like The Simpsons got a movie, but that was pants. But this movie was brilliant because
took it just in not a completely new direction. It just took it from say here to up here.
I think it's the pinnacle of Beavis and Butt-Head.
Oh yeah, you're not beating it, are you, man?
And like they just improved everything, the animation and like there was shading, there was depth in it and stuff like that. But it still felt like Beavis and Butt-Head.
Which my dad took me to see.
Your dad took you to see?
Yeah, man.
Still got my ticket stub because I'm a complete hoarder.
But that's all right. That's cool. That is. So where was that? You went to see it in Tamworth.
Tamworth, yeah.
At £4.50. The price was £3.
£3 whole pounds.
And the date was the 24th of the 5th, 97.
Yeah.
So how old were you been then?
13,
I would have been
14.
12.
About 14, probably 13, 14. But I went with my friend Liam Delaney to see that. I remember that. It was in the May holiday, bank holiday.
Yeah,
I think. But yeah,
I remember going and seeing it with my dad, and obviously I was 12 years old. And what was that? Was that a 12?
I think he was a 12. Yeah.
But I still wanted, like, my dad had to take me because you have to have a guardian with you, don't you? And I remember my dad just falling asleep.
Did he fall asleep?
Yeah, he fell asleep through Star Wars. Fair play to him. It was Jar Jar Binks.
Which one? Phantom.
Yeah. So he fell asleep through that. He snored through that. But I remember seeing the film was off the scale
because the plot of the film is that their TV gets stolen.
Yeah.
And then while they're looking for their TV, they end up meeting this guy who sends them to kill his. They think they're hitmen.
Yeah.
He sends them to kill his wife. His wife then sews this like
tracker,
it's something like a device that could explode or do something. I can't
remember,
but that's the MacGuffin.
Yeah. Like everything about that film, man.
Agreed.
Like what's his name? Bold
Anderson.
No,
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. The fact you've got Bruce Willis as one of the characters. Who else? Demi Moore. And wasn't Bruce Willis with Demi Moore at the time?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think they recorded it together though. But they definitely.
But they were having a thing.
Yeah.
Who else? And you got to see Beavis and Butt-Head's dad, the two dads.
Oh yeah, when they go.
You never see the mum, do you?
Well, that follows my favourite scene in the whole film.
Yeah.
Which is when they're like crawling through the desert.
Have you got a match? Yeah, my butt.
Your butt.
Fucking brilliant.
No, it's like when they're crawling through the desert and they think they're going to die, and then they're watching the turkeys.
The turkeys. Fucking, you're tripping balls.
The vultures having sex. And,
that's genius.
And then like Beaver starts eating like a cactus and starts tripping out.
And is it White Zombie?
It's White Zombie, man. It's such a good track. It's like what's it called? It's the soundtrack. It's called Rat Finks, Suicide Tanks, and Cannibal Girls. And it's a tune.
Title like that. You got it made.
But that sequence, I love that kind of. There's a term for it. I can't remember. I'll put it down here. But it's when they draw like people as purple and pinks and blues and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the term.
I totally blanked on it.
Here it is. I don't know what that noise was. That's like a goddamn. That seems fucking ace as well. Like I used to play in a band and we had a song called "Is This Like a Goddamn?"
But I like how they go to all the famous landmarks, like, you know, where they've got the geezers or geysers, whatever they're called, and they're shooting up, and it cuts to them, like, and they're obsessed with the fact that toilets can auto-flush.
It's genius, man. Yeah, because they're at is it the petrified forest?
Yeah.
And, what's it with the nuns as well? When they get on the bus with the nuns, man. Just fuck. Everything about that film's amazing.
The old lady.
Maybe
I'm going to do the sluts. Well, you're a slut.
No, but this girl's a slut. It's fucking genius. And when we're gonna die.
Oh, it's on the plane?
On the plane, man.
Get the hell out of the cockpit!
You said. Honestly, just like one of the most quotable, fun, brilliant. Like, I just sat through the whole thing loving it.
But it's like a proper step up, like the visual quality of it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they've improved. The one thing I love in Beavis and Butt-Head, the way they animate the walk cycles, because I guess this is an interesting thing to talk about, is the fact that Mike Judge doesn't like what I call squash and stretch.
I remember you talking about
He doesn't like it when characters kind of move out of like proportion and stuff. He likes things to be like quite realistic.
Yeah.
So if you look at any of his cartoons, be it like King of the Hill, Beavis and Butt-Head and stuff, his characters move like real people, or there's very minimal movement, and like it's either people walking or sitting down and talking. There's not a lot of. I mean, they actually do open it up in Beavis and Butt-Head Do America. Like, it starts off with them like as like Godzilla kind of.
I was about to say, because it's quite.
So they kind
epic.
of open it up. So when they're dreaming, it's a bit more wild.
Yeah.
And they're tripping out, and they're zombies and stuff like that. But like, the rest of it's quite mundane, kind of.
Like, but the plot to that movie as well.
It's brilliant. Like, normally I hate it, like when they do TV shows as films, because it's always like they go on holiday. When they do a road trip, but it's
because their telly's been stolen.
Yeah,
that's the whole crux of the.
It's a bit kind of like the Big Lebowski. It's all about his rug. But then
that's a really good comparison.
There's just the TV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What is it? Hitchcock calls it something, the Gubbins or something like that.
Well, there's a MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin.
Which is
that similar? That's
so a MacGuffin is the thing that drives the plot, really, but it's not the most interesting thing about them.
The boobs and fart gags are what you're after.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the MacGuffin.
Yeah. And that's
they get the TV back in the
Yeah, they do. They find it. It's all smashed up, but they're still carrying it home as they walk off in the sunset. It's a nice little moment.
Yeah.
I actually won the soundtrack when I went to see that film. At that screen, I entered a competition there and then.
Yeah.
At the cinema, where you could win this soundtrack plus, and this is a big regret of mine. You could win the TV talkers, and they're like Beavis and Butt-Head on settee, and they sit on top of your TV.
Yeah.
And when you change your remote, they like tell you that
this
what
sucks.
you're watching is rubbish and stuff like that. For whatever reason, a 20-odd-year-old me thought, "Nah, I don't want this anymore." Chucked it away, and I
chucked it away. I gave it away.
I reckon I probably gave it to charity or something like that. I wouldn't have just.
As long as it went to like charity.
Yeah, but I also got like an MTV goodie bag with like a record bag and T-shirts and a watch and stuff.
Oh, nice!
But this is all that survived. But this is a great soundtrack, and again, it's another like this one got me into a load of bands like Nirvana and stuff like that. This got me into White Zombie. I always liked the Chili Peppers, but it also got me into the Butthole Surfers. Rancid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's quite
an eclectic mix of
bands.
And
he had Engelbert Humperdinck, Lesbian Seagull, which is sang in the song by Van Driesen. Right, like soundtracks for me were a big eye opener for music and stuff. Like that.
Totally. I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers are on this one again. I think they even wrote that track for this.
I think isn't it a
film
cover
as well. Love Roller Coaster.
And again, that was animated.
I think you might be right.
And that was animated. Beavis and Butt-Head are on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
White Zombie, which has got rat think suicide tanks,
which is one of the best scenes. Yeah. And what happened after the movie? Did he go straight into King of the Hill?
So I think after the movie was King of the Hill, which, to be honest, this is more your area of expertise.
Man, I fucking love these.
I remember watching it when it first started, but like I think it started in like 97, 98, and by the time it kind of got into its second or third season, I probably was going out then and
getting smashed.
Yeah, probably going out Friday nights, Saturday nights when it was on TV. So I just recently picked these up off eBay, so I'm going to try and get the rest of them. But
I've watched them the whole series about 6 times over and over. I mean, like some of the just the characters in it, man. I just fell in love with.
Boomhauer's my favourite, I think.
Boomhauer or Dale.
Dale's brilliant. The fact that he's totally oblivious to the fact that his wife's having an affair.
Because he wasn't the guy.
And his son, the first moment you go to see his son.
But how much do you love him for it as well? Like he's just there, like smoking and just completely oblivious. And like she's going for migraine treatment all the time, and it's actually what's his name? Oh, fucking hell, not Red.
But he's super nice to Dale, and Dale's super nice because he's totally oblivious to it.
It's killer, man. And like I love the way that Mike Judge treats these characters as well, because like they're rednecks, they're hicks.
Yeah.
But he treats them
as people.
And like I like the way he pokes fun at them. He does it in the Good Family as well, but the other way round, and I don't think it comes across as well.
Yeah.
Whereas with King of the Hill, how long it was like amazing how long it went on.
I think it was like 11 seasons, maybe.
11 seasons. Brad Pitt did a voice.
Did he?
He played Boomhauer's brother.
Okay.
So in one of them, he plays Boomhauer's brother. What's his name? He played Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton. He has a guest spot in this.
No way.
He's the owner of a pig farm.
Okay.
Who wants to marry Luann. Obviously, what's her name passed away as well, didn't she? Who played Luann.
Did she?
Yeah.
Who was it? What was her name?
You know in 8 Mile? The girl in 8 Mile? Blonde one?
Oh, Brittany Murphy. She voiced...
She voiced Leanne.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I just absolutely love that series. Myself and my wife adore it. I mean, the only thing is, I'd love to have... They do a set of figures that I think they only did for, I don't know, a really short run.
They didn't do that many. I know they did Hank, Luann, Peggy, Bobby...
Yeah.
But they didn't do that many of them, did they?
They did all the characters, like Bill Dauterive, but I think it ran for maybe 6 months, these toys, and that was it. And now they're about £300 for a set.
Yeah.
And I can't afford that.
Supply and demand, man.
So I've got a friend who's going to make me some, but yeah, he's a good pal. But yeah, for me, as much as I love Beavis and Butt-Head, and it reminds me of my teenage years, King of the Hill is where I'm at.
If you want something that's got more substance and has got more story and stuff, I think, Beavis and Butt-Head are good at, like, it's like a sonic boom with dirt, and it's like a quick laugh, like...
Yeah.
Whereas King of the Hill is like... For me, it's like how... When Simpsons started, Simpsons was incredible, because it was like a family sitcom.
Well, that's, King of the Hill's a writer off the Simpsons as well.
But obviously Simpsons, like, probably in, like, around 98, 99, 2000, it kind of just went off the walls. And just
shit.
Whereas I think King of the Hill kind of took over from where Simpsons left off.
It was just that, I love
just carried on with that family dynamic. But the thing is, it never diverted from that. It always, from what I've watched.
No, it never did. And, like, I just love... The love between... Sorry, I'm being soppy here. Between Hank and Peggy Hill.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's lovely, like, because, like, she's obviously got... Like, a thing in the show is she's got massive feet, but, like... Like, Hank doesn't see that. Like, he just thinks she's beautiful. But, like, he can't say that. It's just... I love how hung up he is about anything. Because I'm quite... I see a lot of myself in Hank Hill.
Obviously, like, his son is a bit more effeminate.
Yeah, and
like, he obviously finds it hard to relate to his son.
Yeah.
And, like, I'd be quite interested to see if they did a series now which focused on Bobby and his family.
Yeah.
Because obviously he'd probably be a bit more liberal.
Yeah.
And obviously then you've got... But then I don't know if that's...
Because he wants to get a clown college, or he wants to...
But I don't know if that then becomes The Good Life. Do you know what I mean? The Good Family, sorry, not The Good Life. That's a different show. That's the UK one with the people who lived off their garden. That boy ain't right.
They're talking about doing another series for this, and I think it's in the works.
Oh man, it could go on Netflix or something.
And I think they're going to do them when they're older.
Yeah, that'd be great, because they don't do that. They always end up wearing the same clothes every episode or whatever. Yeah. And I'd like to see a TV show like an animated show where... Because obviously they do it because it's a lot easier for the animators to remember, okay, Bart's t-shirt's always orange.
Yeah. And I mean, they sometimes do it in the episode where they're grown up, or it's an alternate universe. But it would be genuinely nice to see what happened to those characters. Because, like, Hank he despairs at Bobby because he can't do like baseball, this, that, and the other. But there's like, I can't remember the episode. There's one where he goes, "Oh, but," because Bobby basically feels like his dad doesn't. He's not proud of him, and he turns around and he says it, and it's like it's full of emotion, man. Like I think it's wicked.
There's the very first episode. It goes off like. It starts off brilliantly because it's the first episode is Bobby gets a black eye from playing baseball.
Yeah.
And social services.
Oh, it's fucking genius.
Come straight away, and I think he's got like a Van Driesen voice because, as you said, he's only got like 3 voices, whatever he does.
He's only just started working in Texas. This guy. Like,
and then Bobby like kind of takes advantage of what this guy.
I'll phone social services,
and then Bobby starts acting up and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many clever episodes in that. Trying to think of some other ones. There's another one where, like, talking about Peggy's feet, where she goes to a store and she's like, so she finds a pair of size 13 heels. Size 13 heels. And it turns out that this shop is for transvestites and drag queens.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that episode was nice. And she goes back to the ranch and sees her mom. Because Peggy grew up in a ranch in, I can't remember where it is. And what's his name? Henry Winkler, who plays the Fonz, is it?
Hey.
He's actually in that episode as well. They've had some mad guest stars. But yeah, I would watch that 1,000 times over Beavis and Butt-Head now.
Don't know. Well, like as I said, I've just started again watching.
I think you'll fall in love with them.
Oh no, I've always I've always loved it, but there's just something about Beavis and Butt-Head, just their anarchic nature that I just love.
Oh yeah, totally, man.
But no, I'm definitely going to get the rest of these and devour them,
man. Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess after King of the Hill, TV wise, he did The Good Family. I think straight after.
Is that how it works? I think
so.
Right.
Yeah. So that lasted like.
One season.
One season of 13 episodes.
And it wasn't very good.
I've only seen the pilot episode, and I can't really speak too much about it. But obviously, it's about a family trying to figure out political correctness and.
So, King of the Hill was, the way I see it, was like the working class.
Yeah.
And the Good Family were the middle class.
I don't know. They're still meant to be quite poor though, apparently. But I think they're meant to be.
Oh, they were. Weren't they?
They're conservative, and then the others are liberal.
In fact, that's the better way.
So that's what it is, really.
Yeah.
So they're super PC.
Yeah.
To the point where they're actually being racist because they don't know in the first episode they don't know what to call black people and what do we call? How do we define you? And it's like, well, I'm just a person.
And so they basically go to adopt an African child.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if it's done the particularly best way they do.
But they adopt a
white South African
boy,
child.
And still call it. They give him a South African name.
I won't attempt to say it but I don't know. I think it was a bit dated. I don't know.
It's just a bit too much. He's got he's got one toilet roll and he's got the device where he's separating the toilet roll to make it last I don't know, it's just
2-ply. You could have 2-ply.
I don't know. It was a bit too I don't know if high concept's the word, because these were quite simple. They were just family dramas, whereas
I like the pace of this as well. For me, to chill out to King of the Hill is just perfect.
Yeah, Beavis and Butt-Head's a bit loud to chill out.
Yeah, I think that's what it is because I find myself watching cartoons when I go. I've said to you when I go to sleep.
Right.
That is my go-to chilling out. Right, I'm putting this in Looney Tunes. You gave me the DVD. Loved it. Excellent chilling out cartoon, but Beavis and Butt-Head, it's like a drill to the cranium. I love it, but it is. It's like a.
But I also think the colour palette is interesting on all these shows. King of the Hill and Beavis and Butt-Head have got similar kind of watercolour backgrounds and a bit more pastel kind of colours.
Yeah.
Whereas the Good Family's really bright and vibrant, and it's a bit kind of garish for me. It was a bit too over the top.
It's very clean as well, wasn't it?
Because it was probably done digitally.
It definitely was, wasn't it?
Whereas I think King of the Hill was blatantly done.
I think Office Space would have been in between Good Family and.
So yeah. So should we just talk about Office Space?
Sorry if I.
No. So obviously Office Space was his first live action film that he did.
Yeah.
Which was based on the Milton shorts, but he's not the main character.
Well, Lombard. Is it Lombard in it?
Lumberg.
He is whoever plays him is just taken like they've just taken him literally from that first short.
Oh yeah, so he's
he
basically
he's
the office manager.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Milton. What's happening? I'm going to need you to go ahead and move your desk again. So, if you could go ahead and just get it as far back into that corner as possible, that'd be terrific. But that way we'll have some more room for some of these boxes and things we need to put in here.
Well, okay.
And, there's that stapler I've been looking for here. Let me just go ahead and get that from you. Thanks.
Hi, Milton. What's happening?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to ask you to go ahead and move your desk again. So,
no.
if you could go ahead and get it as far back against that wall as possible, that would be great.
No, because I was...
That way we'll have some room for
no
some of
longer
these
had to move my desk
boxes and
because
things we need to put in here.
There's no room.
And, oh, there it is.
What?
Here, let me just go ahead and get that from you.
But he's like a micromanager, complete asshole.
It's that fucking dick
Slavy
who like
kind
comes
of-
up to you and asks you if you want to work another 2 hours after you've done like a 10-hour shift.
So basically, Office Space is about a guy who's like upset with. He's just bored of his job. Basically.
Bored of life, bored of his job, bored of his relationship.
Yeah, it starts off like he's on his way to work,
Yeah.
and he's in the one lane, and he sees the other lane moving, so he gets
Goes
in that
in the other
lane,
one.
which happens to every driver. It always happens.
Yeah.
He gets back into the lane, and it cuts to Michael Bolton.
Which
He's
is
like listening to rap, like
Yeah, 'cause-
hardcore rap in his.
in his little, because there's a wicked scene in Office Space as well. It's my favourite scene in the entire thing, where they keep trying to use the printer and it breaks down.
PC load letter. What the fuck was
Fucking
that?
PC load leather, and they basically kick the shit out of the printer, and it's like to gangster rap. I don't know who it is.
And like he's like just punching it. They have to drag him off.
I know I love that thing, because what happens in Office Space, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, is basically gets hypnotised,
Yes.
and they have the chap who's hypnotising him has a heart attack, dies, and leaves him in a permanently chilled state.
Yeah.
Which sounds amazing to me. I'd be quite happy with that. I'm getting there. I'm getting more zen. But, so it leaves him in this chilled state, so thus leaving... What's the name of the character in it?
Is it? No. Well, the actor's Ron Livingstone. Mr. Office Space.
Main protagonist.
Mr. Office Space.
Mr. Office Space. Leaving him in a perpetual...
State of like, not euphoria, but he's just like...
Doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, so like he's supposed to go in on the Saturday and Sundays and he at work, and like he doesn't turn up, keeps getting messages from his boss, his girlfriend tells him he's leaving him.
And these are all things that he was stressing out about before, and now just lets go.
Yeah.
When he goes back into work though,
Yeah.
he goes fishing,
Just when he guts the fish on
and
the
he
desk.
just goes in, slaps the fish on the desk, starts gutting them. I love that. When
Yeah,
he
but
does
he's
that.
like a proper pimp though. Like he goes to that restaurant that's like near his work. Just
Jennifer
straight goes to
Aniston,
Jennifer
man,
Aniston.
yeah.
Who I actually thought Office Space was around the same time Friends started, but actually it was around. Friends has been on for about 5-6 years. So I was like, wow, they've got Jennifer Aniston for this. Like, it's not a massive part.
Because if you look at there's an interview with him on YouTube where he discusses about Jennifer Aniston and acting with her, and he was like, I was so nervous.
Oh yeah, because he plays like her boss, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Telling her about her flair. He doesn't personally like the ending.
Because what was the ending?
I think, they do basically Superman 3, don't they? Where they kind of create a computer virus that steals bits of percentage of money,
Yeah.
fractions of pennies or whatever,
Yeah.
and puts into an account, but it goes wrong and they end up with like a lot of money in the account the next day as opposed to over years.
So they try and like undo this by...
Well, no, it
breaking
just
back
turns
in.
out that Milton ends up burning the place down
place
anyway because he's just fed up of being moved around. Because, yeah, they have people coming in to do layoffs.
Yeah.
So they have the guy from Scrubs, forgotten his flipping name, John C. McGinley.
Yeah, I love
the
him
guy.
as well.
And like they start firing people. They fire that guy who creates the jump to conclusions map.
Who has a car accident. I love the way they point out that some people are that miserable in their job.
Tries to kill himself, but then he sees his wife, and then he realises he wants to live.
Yeah. I love all the meanings behind that whole film. Like the ending, where he's on the street and he's like shoveling shit, but he's outside. He's out
But he's
of the
playing.
office.
He's shoveling at the old office. Isn't
He's
he?
shoveling up the old office with that really simple like redneck guy with the mullet who lives next door.
He's played by a guy called Diedrich Bader or Vader
Well, that's who
Bader,
he is.
and he voices Batman. I believe in Batman Brave and the Bold, which is kind of like
That's
a Batman series, like based on like the Silver Age Batman.
Yeah.
It's a bit more fun and a bit more like kid friendly.
Okay.
But it's really cool. Batman Brave and the Bold. But anyway, he plays the next door neighbour.
He plays the next door neighbour, and like
They can hear each other.
Yeah.
Walls and stuff.
check out Channel 5.
Yeah.
And it's like
There's some breast cancer.
it's rough, man. But I think Mike Judge.
I wasn't laughing at breast cancer.
No. We weren't laughing at that. But Mike Judge favours or sees something in the simple man.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Like-
I was saying with his animation stuff. He just likes mundane, not mundane, but just like you say, just simple.
Yeah, and he can see the happiness in that guy's simple life where he's going. He's like doing a construction job, goes home beat and has a beer.
Goes home to Jennifer Aniston.
He's
But she's not glammed up in or anything. She's
No.
just normal.
she's good in it as well, man.
Yeah.
She plays a really good part.
So yeah, after he did Office Space, he then did Idiocracy. Or I used to work at a video rental store at the time, and this guy came in. He was pissed as a fart. He's like, "What's this Idiocracy about?" And I was like, "No,
I
man,
think you're starring it, mate.
It's Idiocracy." No, it says Idiocracy, and I was just like.
Yeah, one of them moments where it's literally.
But I actually like this film quite
Yeah.
a bit. You don't, do you?
I wasn't. I need to rewatch it. I think the premise behind it is good.
It's kind of simple to Futurama a little bit.
Like, what's that?
Not
scene
that Fry's
in-
the cleverest man in the world.
The Simpsons, where the guy keeps getting hit. Like, they go to a film festival and the guy gets hit in the nuts with the fucking football.
Yeah, is it Hans Moleman?
Hans Moleman. And that's what people laugh at.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, Ow My Balls, that guy. There's that guy's got a TV show.
So that's the way shit's going.
Yeah.
That I can, because that's what if I remember with Idiocracy, just everyone's become stupid.
Well, basically, it starts off like you see like a little family tree. So the smart people decide not to have kids because it's not the right time,
That's it,
economically, whatever. So they put it off, and so they end up not having kids. Whereas the
Which
rednecks,
is genius.
rednecks are just like multiplying like rabbits and stuff like that. So that's how
Which
they explain it.
I like it. It's
Like the
pretty...
companies have like names like Buttco, no, Fuckmongers or something like that.
Fuckmongers.
Or something like that, but it's basically like a restaurant and there's kids in there eating dinner and stuff like that. It's I don't know.
If it isn't Fuckmongers, I'm opening a shop called Fuckmongers.
I'll put a little disclaimer down.
Welcome to Fuckmongers.
But yeah, basically, again, it's the simple man.
Yeah,
he plays the simple man. Like he's not.
Oh, that's it. Because he's a genius in
Luke
his
Wilson.
time.
So he's not a overly smart man in our time, and he's not an overly dumb man. He's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
But fast forward 1,000 years in the future, whatever it is, he is the smartest guy. And I love Terry Crews as the...
Terry Crews is good in
he's
anything.
The President of the United States.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. He's kind of basically a wrestler. Like vamp into the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's got his AK-47s firing them around. He's driving around on a chopper.
The more you talk about it, the more I remember. Do you know what? I think I'm going to have to give it another go. But
the one thing I love about his films, like Beavis and Butt-Head and Office Space and this, they're like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, bang,
Yeah,
here's your movie, done.
I think that's... I don't think Mike Judge wants to work any more than he has to. I think he's only doing things now that he enjoys.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which is what an amazing place to be.
Oh yeah.
That's where everyone would love to be. And like, I don't think he's asked if it makes any money at the box office.
Well, I think Beavis and Butt-Head was a success. That was like a #1 film, like across the world. Like that made quite a bit of money compared to like the budget it was on. But I think Office Space, I don't think it did very well at the cinema because I think it was a bit mistreated. Like the studio kind of like just gave it like the posters for Office Space was of a guy with post-it notes all over him with Milton behind him, and I'm like, well, what's that mean? And Idiocracy was just Luke Wilson going
TPS reports.
doing that, and I'm like, well, that doesn't exactly sell the movie. Like, he's just a guy doing that. But yeah, who else is in that? Maya Rudolph's in Idiocracy, and she plays a prostitute. And
who's that? Maya.
She's in a lot of films. I think she's in Bridesmaids and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And she's really funny.
Yeah. She wasn't in the new Ghostbusters.
No. Dax Shepard's in it. I'm not a big fan of Dax Shepard, but he was quite good in this, playing like a complete dumbass.
Yeah.
But for the budget it was made on, which I think was like 4 to 5 million, it looks quite good. Like, they've got good sets in it, some decent special effects. Like, but yeah, the whole plot is basically that America can't grow crops anymore. I don't know whether the rest of the world is this dumb, but definitely America is. And they're watering their crops with like a Gatorade type drink.
Yeah.
So their crops aren't drinking. And then they're surprised when they're like, they have to use toilet water for the crops to grow. And then eventually it grows and he becomes the president and stuff like that of America. And I think it's quite a fun little film. Yeah, like, he walks into prison, he's put into prison at the beginning because he hasn't got a barcode.
Oh, and he walks back out,
Justin Long sends him to prison, or no, he's the doctor and he freaks out because he hasn't got a barcode or whatever. Yeah, and he just goes, I'm supposed to be like leaving prison today, and they're like, oh, you're in the wrong queue. He just walks straight out. So after Idiocracy, he did a film called Extract. Now, I've seen Extract once.
I've not seen it.
I tried to watch it again. I couldn't find it anywhere illegal-wise anyway.
Yeah, no, same.
But from what I remember, basically Jason Bateman plays a guy, just a normal guy again.
Another normal guy.
Who is probably a bit bored of his life and his relationship. Like the spark's probably gone.
It looks a bit like Office Space 2 to me from the
It's
trailer.
meant to be a bit of a complementary piece to it.
Yeah.
And I think he works in a company. He owns a company that kind of extract flavours out of things to create flavours for like crisps or sweets.
Doesn't one of them lose a bollock?
Yeah. So basically, there's like a work-related incident, and basically, I think T.J. Miller, he plays like a rocker guy, like one of these like over-the-top looking rocker like that. I think he's like driving a forklift. I'm probably a bit wrong.
Are you sure that's T.J. Miller?
I'm sure it's T.J. Miller.
It didn't look like him in the trailer.
I think you're thinking of Ben Affleck in the trailer.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Is that who I was thinking of?
So Ben Affleck plays his next door neighbour, but I think he's his next door neighbour or best friend.
I've not seen the film, remember?
But T.J. Miller plays this rocker guy, and I think he's driving a forklift, and there's an accident, and he ends up losing a testicle.
You don't want that to happen.
And I think there's like a. So basically, after this accident, obviously he's given compensation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hearing this, you've got who's the girl who plays Meg in Family Guy? What's her name?
Mila Kunis.
She's a bit like of a con artist or a bit of like a chancer or whatever, and she starts working there as like a temporary.
Yeah.
On a temporary basis, and I think. I can't remember either. She's like trying to look for something to happen so she can get a payout, or she's trying to get with T.J. Miller to get some of this payout money. But then I think the lead character, who's played by Jason Bateman, obviously he's a bit bored with his life and stuff. He kind of is contemplating having an affair with Mila Kunis, because I think he's misreading signals that she's giving him and stuff like that. And there's like a. But I really can't remember too much about it. And if I remember, I wasn't that big on it.
But, like, it sounds another... Like, as you were saying, it's Mike Judge, isn't it? Like it's another...
But it's got a wicked cast. It's got Jason Bateman. It's got Ben Affleck, who I actually quite like Ben Affleck in some roles. I think he's really good. Kirsten Wiig, or is it Kirsten Wiig? T.J. Miller. And it's got a good cast.
Good cast.
Yeah.
Well... I'll tell you what, I'll watch that again and we'll catch up on it.
Watch it again, you mean for the first time?
For the first time again.
First time again.
Yeah.
So,
we're both tired today, we've been shopping.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So after he did that, I think the next thing he did really, other than the Beavis and Butt-Head reunion, was Silicon Valley. Now, I've only just started to watch this, so I got this through the post on Saturday and I blitzed it all in one day.
It's great,
because it's only 8 episodes, like less than half an hour each episode.
Yeah.
But Matt, it's a bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
It's like a slow burn.
When does T.J. Miller come into it?
He's in the first episode.
He is in the first episode. Because I think it's the 3rd season I'm on. And obviously, like, I don't know what's gone on with him, you Italian man.
So at the end of this, they've just won a competition because they've just created... Pied Piper's now, like,
Yeah.
It can compress data like better than any other program.
You know that Mike Judge worked in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Like I think this is great. I think this is some of his best work.
Oh, it's brilliant, man. Like as I said, it's a bit of a slow burn, but the guy who kind of like invests in them is fantastic. Sadly, he died like before this series even finished filming. He's basically one of the he owns the company that they end up working for or whatever. He's the one who has the toga party and stuff like that. He's a brilliant character, and I've totally forgotten his name. But sadly he passed away during the filming of the first series or after the first series. But I don't think that's why he's not in the latter episodes.
Right.
But I've been a big fan of Kamal Nanjiani for a long time.
He's great.
He had a podcast called The Indoor Kids. Just about video games and stuff.
Yeah.
And just like what we talk about, things that we like. And he also had a podcast about one of my biggest passions and my biggest loves in the world, which is the X-Files. Now, what he did was this is totally off topic here.
That's alright.
But he was basically going episode by episode the X-Files.
Yeah.
But he loved it that much that apparently his podcast was one of the reasons why it got brought back. Because people realised how much of a fan base it still had.
It is amazing though.
But I think this was a backdoor way for him to end up being on the X-Files, which is what happened in Series 10.
Yeah.
He's in the episode with Rhys Darby, where it's like basically he bites this monster, Kamal Nanjiani does, and this monster becomes a human, so it's like a wereman.
Do you mean the guy who's out of
Flight of the
Conchords?
Yeah.
Because I think it's in the same episode. One of the RuPaul's Drag Race winners is in it.
Yeah.
So he's got all
and that's a great episode. But I think it was just he did that podcast just so he could do that. And after he did that, the podcast ceased to exist. So I think
he planned.
He got to like series 3 or whatever, and after that it just ended. Which is a shame because I really enjoyed listening to that podcast.
Yeah.
But
I'll check that out.
This series though, I haven't seen series 2, 3, whatever, so don't spoil it. I know TJ Miller's left because of reasons, because he's a bit of a dickhead.
Hashtag reasons.
Yeah. Hashtag me too. not me too, he didn't do anything to me.
No. But like, whatever happened there, he was a very strong character in this.
Well, I think he's just playing himself, really, because he was a dickhead in this. But
a
good dickhead.
But you do miss him in the third season.
I think it's 5 he's not in. I think it's 25.
Is that how many?
But this has got two of the best moments. The one where TJ Miller starts a fight on a little kid.
Yeah.
And he goes, you bought piss to a shit fight or something like that.
Yeah.
I've totally fucked that up, but it's brilliant.
Hey! Which one was it? It was church candy, wasn't it? You just brought piss to a shit fight, you little... You get in your fucking house and you get me 5 Adderall, or I'll slit your fucking throat. You understand? I'll kill your mother. I'll rape your father. I'll curb stomp that little face so hard that your teeth will go flying, you little shit. Now go. Give me 5 Adderall right now.
Yeah.
It's one of the best gags. It's when TJ Miller says, look, we're going to win that even if I have to jerk off everybody in this room. And then Kamal Nanjiani's like, but there's going to be like 800 people in that room and we've only got 20 minutes. So they have this they keep going back to this, they're doing this equation and stuff like that, figuring out how you can jerk off 800 people in 20 minutes. And they're like going, well, you either have one on one hand, you can have 2, or you can have 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and you're doing that. Or you have it on an angle and you're doing that. Oh man, I was dying. It was so funny.
I'm going to rewatch them with that.
We're gonna win even if I have to go into the auditorium and personally jerk off every guy in the audience.
That's a lot of jerking. And we only have 10 minutes to present.
Yeah, even if he's jerking 2 at a time, there are 800 guys in that room, so that's 400 times whatever the mean jerk time is.
The what?
Mean jerk time. I mean, it doesn't matter, but hypothetically, time is equal to 400 total jerks at a 2-dick rate.
Unless Ehrlich jerks off 4 guys at a time, and then we can cut that in half.
How would he do 4 guys? He's got 2 hands, so that's 2 dicks at a time, right?
Look, you have 2 guys on either side with their dicks tip to tip, so you're going full length. 4, see?
Oh.
So I'm looking forward to series 2.
Because he's also acted as well, hasn't he? He was in Spy Kids.
Oh yeah?
He was in South Park.
Was he just in the movie?
He was just in the movie and he voiced Kenny.
Kenny.
And when he took his hood off.
Goodbye, you guys.
What else has he done? There was another one I know.
I know he did the voices for the ghosts or whatever in a film called R.I.P.D., which is basically Men in Black but with ghosts, and it's got Jeff Bridges and Deadpool guy Ryan Reynolds.
Right. Okay.
And it's not a very good film, but for some reason I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But it's not a good film at all.
I like. Do you know what? I like some.
But it's like
technically shit films.
It's like Mike Patton voiced all the monsters in I Am Legend, so all the vampires or whatever. Mike Patton does all that.
He does it well because that scared the shit out of me.
Mike Patton's fucking the man.
Yeah, he's cool, dude. Apart from when we saw him at ATP and he was wearing this ridiculous.
What was he in?
I think it was Phantomas, but he was like had this ridiculous leather, like long coat on.
Wow.
He looked like he was out of the Matrix. But I don't know.
Did he take the red pill or the blue pill? Or both?
I think he took all the pills. But so with Mike Judge, what would you like to see him do in the future?
I don't know. He's talked about He's talked about doing.
Look who it is!
This is our other mascot. This is Turney.
Much bigger than our other one.
Yeah, he's a little brute.
Can I give him one?
You want to give him some?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Doesn't give a
He's
shit.
He's a little shit. Come here.
Can't turn it.
No, here.
Yeah.
You fucker. It's
It's going to turn into a proper Beavis and Butt-Head episode in a minute. Here you go, dude. Enjoy. Oh. How's that? It's a beast.
Got another one. You going to piss off now?
Tell you what, you would beat the shit out of Max, wouldn't you?
Put your bum down.
Sit. Does he work the same like with
Dunno, he might
as
do.
he does dogs?
So, as we were saying, what were you saying?
Yeah. So where would you like to see Mike Judge go in the future? What do you think?
I don't know. Obviously, he's going to carry on with Silicon Valley. You know, I don't know how long it will go for now. I mean, I don't know how the series is going, if it's leading towards like a conclusion or what.
Yeah.
So, but I expect at some point, I reckon he might revisit Beavis and Butt-Head. Yeah. He's talked about doing live action one. I don't know how that will look. I mean,
we've seen the those models made of the Beavis and Butt-Head heads.
Scary, man.
That look terrifying. I mean, I'd like to see him revisit animation. I'd definitely like to see him go back to the King of the Hill franchise.
Well, that's something
that's
going
to
happen.
Go
back
I think.
To. So you've got like Hank the Conservative. You've got Bobby. He's probably going to be liberal, and especially in this climate now in America.
Yeah,
it's ripe
totally.
for.
I mean, like thinking about whether Hank Hill would vote for Trump.
Yeah, I don't know, because like
I'd like to see Hank Hill meet Trump.
But like how cartoons work is that they kind of reset every episode. So, you know how Hank starts off with he's licking me. Start off with their core values, and then can kind of over the course of the episode he'll learn something and change. But then when the next episode starts, he's like back to square one. It's not like a TV show now where they'll have an arc, a character arc, and they'll see it through.
I mean, it'd be nice to see them like as older versions of Hank and Peggy, and maybe a grown-up Bobby, and obviously you can't have Luann because obviously R.I.P. Brittany Murphy.
But it's like we're talking about characters like Beavis and Butt-Head are the same people that they are at the beginning as they are at the end. You know, they don't evolve; they are just a constant. They're just like.
Those characters.
I mean, you don't want to see an evolution. There's a great episode actually in the new ones where Beavis and Butt-Head are eating hot dogs, and Beavis has a big piece of onion in his, and they're watching this like soppy TV program, and Beavis like sniffs this onion, and he starts to cry because of the onion.
Yeah.
And then the Butt-Head just mocks him for crying the whole time, and then it'll cut to like 3 weeks later. Yeah. You were crying. He was like, shut up. And then it cuts to then like 80 years later and they're in an old people's home. And then Butt-Head just like is this fat kind of guy on a drip and Beavis is in a wheelchair. Oh man, I was dying. Butt-Head goes, "You were crying," and then keels over with a heart attack. And then Beavis, like, there's a little pause, but there's this great comedic timing where Beavis just like rams into his head, his dead head, with his mobility scooter. Or
I mean, there's an episode like the older ones where is it A Wonderful Life?
Oh, it's like a Christmas episode, brilliant.
And it's proper, like how futile it is. This guy trying to change these two characters.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that.
That is a brilliant episode.
Now, if there's one I'd like to rewatch, I'm going to rewatch that.
It's on here.
Yeah, man. The Holy Bible of Beavis and Butt-Head.
There's actually on here. There's a wicked like a documentary series that runs throughout the whole disc, all the discs.
Right.
And there's a good commentary track as well on the Beavis and Butt-Head movie as well. So it's well worth the punt. I mean, you can get this for like £10 off eBay.
And that includes everything.
Some jokers put it on Facebook Marketplace for like £2,000. Unless it's made out of actual gold.
It is gold though. I mean, the one thing I'd like to see is that you can turn the music videos off, because I'd love to watch just the.
Oh, I love those music videos.
I do love them, but I'd like the option. But yeah, so I think that.
But I mean, these are played without the. These are played with the episode straight. So unlike this, where the music video,
videos are embedded.
The music video are embedded. These are like just the episodes, and then you've got like in the bonus features. You've got.
That's what I mean.
You've got a load.
That's what's been stopping me buying that set.
No, do it, man.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to.
So yeah, I guess that about wraps up our episode. I hope you enjoyed a little look back at Mike Judge's work. We think it's fantastic. I'd love to know what you think. You know, what's your favourite episodes? Do you prefer Beavis and Butt-Head? Do you prefer King of the Hill? Do you like Extract? Have you seen Extract? But yeah, I hope you join us on the next episode, which I think we're going to talk about.
It's got to be Star Wars.
We're hoping to have a special guest on episode, what would that be, 5? We're going to have our good friend,
5, yeah.
Richard Howell. I don't think he knows it yet.
He's got to come though.
But,
I've heard he's coming in full regalia.
Hope so. Oh yeah, he does have costumes. So
Yeah. He's coming in full regalia, and yeah, it's going to be a great one.
All right, so we hope to see you then.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.
All right, bye.